fellow yogis, and welcome to my yoga channel. And today I would like to continue the discussion about yoga to talk about what yoga really means. Well, sometimes it's easier to say what yoga is not. So yoga definitely is not a trendy physical exercise routine that is only for young, flexible women who can get their bodies into these pretzel-like moves that is not even possible for the normal human being. No, yoga is an art, it's a science, and it's a philosophy, and it is a way of life to embrace for the ordinary human being to follow the road to enlightenment and unite with its divine soul, or the Atman as the Indian yogis call it. Well, yoga was really introduced into the West by Paramahansa Yogananda, who is the author of Autobiography of a Yogi, and he brought the yoga philosophy to the West and specifically to America in the 1920s with the blessings of his guru Sri Yukteswari and his entire line of Indian gurus, who felt that it was Yogananda's task to be that bridge between the East and the West and connect the brothers and sisters of the East and the West and introduce them to the philosophy of yoga, of how to reach self-realization as a way of life. So when one looks at the meaning of the word yogi, or yoga rather, it is a Sanskrit word that means to yoke, and it is the yoking of the physical, emotional and spiritual bodies with the divine Atman, the divine soul. And yoga was really written up for the first time in India about 5,000 years ago in the Rig Veda. And the Rig Veda means it's a collection of hymns that was written in praise of the divine. So in those years, almost 5,000 years ago, there were very evolved beings that were called seers or rishis. And these rishis followed very specific religious rituals and had mystical, spiritual experiences with the divine because they were able to focus and hold their mind in a very focused state for a very prolonged period of time. And because they were able to do that, they were graced with visions and intuitions, and they managed to see reality as it is. They said that they saw the fabric of existence. And those incredible states of being that they experienced, they wrote up for us in the Rig Veda, which was nowadays we call it the Vedic period. And after the Vedic period was the pre-classical period, where some of the other major Indian texts and scriptures were written up, like the Upanishads and also the Bhagavad Gita. That is probably the most important scripture on yoga. And it is said that the Bhagavad Gita was written by Lord Krishna himself, and he addressed his whole treatise to his devotee Arjuna. And so it is from these texts, the Upanishads, the Rig Veda and the Bhagavad Gita, that Patanjali then took all of these writings, he collated it, he systemized it, and he wrote it into his very classical work, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are a collection of 196 aphorisms or very terse written texts written in a kind of shorthand that he gave to his students. And it is from the Yoga Sutras that we get the 8 limbs of yoga, or the 8 pools of yoga wisdom that I like to call it. And that is what we're going to explore in more detail. And you can see that the 8-limb yoga of Patanjali is not just a little document that was written by one man, but it is a synthesis of yoga as a pathway to realization that is substantiated from all these other ancient texts. So if you've enjoyed this video and you would like to hear more about the history of yoga and about the first yogi that was called the Adi Yogi, please let me know. Also, help out the channel by subscribing, and I hope to continue this discussion with you very soon, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.